Since soon after the invention of sound films, directors have been turning popular books into motion pictures. Certainly, audience members will argue as to the quality of one of these forms versus the other, or if the soundtrack either enhanced or detracted from the effect, or even if the plot was completely ruined and the movie was declared a colossal failure. However, when turning any piece of literature into film, there are a number of distinct and unavoidable differences, no matter how the contributors may struggle to make the two forms as similar as possible. High Fidelity is one such novel that has been turned into a movie. It was written in 1995 by British novelist and journalist Nick Hornby. Nick Hornby is even best known for the novels About a Boy, as well for the football memoir Fever Pitch and Juliet Naked. His work frequently touches upon music, sport, and the aimless and obsessive natures of its protagonists. His books have sold more than 5 million copies worldwide. High Fidelity is a national bestseller and a New York Times notable book, and has received worldwide praise.
What came first, the music or the misery? People worry about kids playing with guns or watching violent videos, that some sort of culture of violence will take them over. Nobody worries about kids listening to thousands, literally thousands of songs about heartbreak, rejection, pain, misery, and loss. Did I listen to pop music because I was miserable? Or was I miserable because I listened to pop music?
In 2000, Stephen Frears directed the film version starring John Cusack, which has grossed almost $50 million in its lifetime. The film centers on Rob Gordon, a self-confessed music geek with a poor understanding of women. After getting dumped by his current girlfriend, Laura, he decides to look up some of his old partners in an attempt to figure out where he keeps going wrong in his relationships. He spends his days at his record store, Championship Vinyl, where he holds court over the customers that drift through. Helping Rob in his task of musical elitism are Dick and Barry, the musical moron twins, as he refers to them. Armed with the encyclopedic knowledge of all things musical, they compile top 5 lists for every conceivable occasion, openly mock the ignorance of their customers, and, every so often, sell a few records. Rob and the staff have a strong dislike for two shoplifting skateboarder teenagers, Vince and Justin. One day, he listens to a recording that they did, and offers them a record deal, starting his own label called Top 5 Records. During his off hours, he pines for Laura and does his best to win her back. Rob soon hears that Laura's father, who liked Rob, has died, and attends his funeral with Laura. Shortly after the reception, Rob realizes he never committed to Laura, and always had one foot out the door. This made him realize he neglected his own future in the process. Afterwards, he and Laura move back in together again, and she organizes a celebration of the recently released single by the two delinquents, where Barry's band plays Let's Get It On, and is delightful.
Sugar, let's get it on.
In the final scene, Rob finishes his advice about making the perfect mixtape, and says that he is now making one for Laura.
I believe when I fall in love with you, it will be forever.
In the transition from novel to film, Rob, the hero of High Fidelity, undergoes some minor transformations. He ceases being British and becomes American, relocates from London to Chicago, and sees his last name change from Fleming to Gordon. The transition from London to Chicago really wasn't a problem at all. It's the heart of the novel which makes it able to jump across the Atlantic and work just as well in America as England. The themes in this novel are universal. Anyone can understand them and even apply them to their own lives. It's the central character and ideas, not the location, which means High Fidelity would work wherever it was set. Screenplay writer De Vincentis remained very faithful to the original dialogue, and in maintaining the strength of the central character, makes the adapted film successful too. John Cusack is perfect for the role of Rob. He plays him as the obsessive and confused 30-something Hornby portrays, and he seems slightly less self-indulgent and slightly more likable in the movie than in the book. One of the most glaring differences, textually, between the novel and the film is the audience's relationship with the narrator. The director's choice to have Rob talking directly to us let us laugh along to his funny, insecure monologues and share his confusion, while the nature of the writing feels similar to a confession, in a way that suggests they are actually being received by his ex-girlfriend Laura, instead of us, the readers. The movie is more focused than the novel. The movie retains the best scenes and lines from the book, and the changes made from the book to the movie make the story sharper and not so anticlimactic, minimizing Mary LaSalle's character and having Rob start a record label at the end. A book with so many obscure music references needs a medium, and if you've seen the film, you know it has an amazing soundtrack. Stephen Frears' adaptation of Hornby's 1995 novel is spiritually faithful, despite the fact that the setting has been moved from London to Chicago. Anyone who's ever been or even just known a record geek can tell you that love of vinyl knows no geographical boundaries. And besides that, High Fidelity, like the book it's based on, is essentially a story about the overwhelming power of pop culture, not just the way it can illuminate every element of our existence, but also the way it can cloud our judgment. Pop music can be like a prism hanging in the window, a gorgeous little thing through which everything in life is filtered. But it can also be an excuse for never leaving the couch to actually live. Adapting the beloved book, no matter how faithfully, is an invitation to criticism. But John Cusack and Stephen Frears appear to have at least one fan. It's a really good movie, Nick Hornby says. All others should be so lucky.